Welcome to the Biz Gone Social podcast. We help entrepreneurs navigate how to get known, get customers, and get the edge over their competition. Here is your host, Lorraine Duncan.
So here we are on the Biz Gone Social podcast, and I am so glad to be here. And my promise to you, as always, is I want to give you a little bit of verbal caffeine that's going to energize your business and hopefully your social media marketing too, and help you keep social. Because after all, don't you want to be the business that everyone else is talking about? I know I do. I am so stoked to have Jeanette Stein with me. Welcome, Jeanette.
Thank you so much, Lorraine. Excited to be here.
Tell me, my audience, a little bit about what you do and who you serve.
Yeah, absolutely. I serve small businesses with automation that is enhanced with AI, specifically using ChatGPT to help automate all of those busy tasks that you know you need to get done, but you just don't know how to fit it all in.
Yeah, so ChatGPT, it seems to be the talk of the town. And so tell me a little bit about, I'm quite familiar with ChatGPT. I use it in my business. So there are so many business owners out there that are a little bit hesitant. So tell me a little bit about how a business owner can get over that and really utilize that and also save time. How could all that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing is for people who haven't used it, they're intimidated that they feel everybody is ahead of them. And that's really, as soon as you log in, you can catch up really quickly, which is so nice. So you go to OpenAI and set up a free account. And I would encourage every single business owner to at least have an account and go in, and you'll see a little box at the bottom and you talk to it like it's an assistant. Answer this email. Please write for me a social post. You can, if you think about it as an assistant, let's say you hired your 14-year-old niece and she knows nothing about your business, what would you tell her to do? And start there, right? And it just allows you to see the power of it.
Yeah. And it's interesting when I first went on it. So it was not new to me because I already had been using something called Copy AI.
Oh, yes.
And so I don't know how long I was using. I was part of the beta with that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I like to use it for writer's prompts, and then they send you writer's prompts. So it's like really cool. So I also was like using Copy AI for like blog posts. And I would use this thing it was just like Freestyle, it was called. It was really cool. But what I started to notice was it started to capture my voice. So certain words that I say, it was like, to me, it was really cool. So what are some ways that people can use ChatGPT, Copy AI in their businesses? Like to really, besides using it as to answer emails and everything, what are some other ways that it could be used?
Oh, yeah. Great question. So the nice part about ChatGPT is it can assess and look at it. So one of the ways I like to use it and that we can set up automations for is having it look at your blog post or maybe this podcast, right? So Lorraine, you've got your podcast. We can put that in there and go create 20 social media posts that would make people curious enough to click through and go back to your podcast, right? And so we could put it in there and it could put little blurbs of things I'm saying, things you're saying that would make people, hey, click through to learn the 3 things Jeanette said about this, or click through to hear what prompt Lorraine gave, right? And so it can create the curiosity that would allow people to drive traffic socially back to it. That is one of the things that I have found super powerful to drive traffic. The other thing is writing copy sales pages, about me pages, which is really good. The story it wrote for me and mine, I was like, wow, that's better than I could have done. Talking about my story, helping, with Facebook posts, summarizing videos, writing, obviously you said the emails, There's the emails though that also you get in Gmail from your customer service. So you can even automate it to write a rough draft, and then you can just take a look at it, and it really speeds up how quickly you can reply to all those kind of repetitive replies. The nice part is ChatGPT allows things like if-thens. So if they ask this, then this. If they ask that, then this, right? And so you can really customize the prompt, they call it, what the directions you give to be there. The other thing that I love coaching people on is how to make it sound like you. I call it the tone, the voice, and the emotion. So the tone is, how do you like this? I always say, what do you want to be known for as a business owner? You want to be that social expert. You want, I'm thinking of you, Lauren, you want to be, your conversation is always friendly, always warm, always caffeinated, right? And you could say that in there for your tone. Emotion is something that's super powerful. If you put the emotion you want the reader to feel, right? So how do you want them to feel energized? You want them to feel encouraged. You want them to feel motivated to take action. That's what your podcast is all about. And then the voice, certain things, like you said, it picks up on words you say. What words do you say? For me, I don't like to use the word but. I think I don't want to start sentences with I want the clients to feel like it's more about them. So all of that voice, your nuance, your pet peeves, your things you would say or not say really comes through. And when you have fun with those, I put it as a text expander, it just goes into all of them. And now they always sound like me and how I want to come across. It's very powerful.
Yeah, you just gave me a bunch of ideas. Thank you.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is I belong to a networking group, and I know that memory hooks are really good because people then will remember that one thing. There's a chiropractor that says, take care of your body now and it will take care of you later. And I always remember that memory hook. And so I actually did memory hooks for my business, and I came up with a whole bunch of them. And then I was able to decide which one I wanted to use. And it's because I want people to remember me at a networking event. So it's just it's so amazing. I happen to use something called ManyChat. Have you ever heard of ManyChat?
Yes, I have. It's a wonderful tool.
It's a wonderful tool, but I don't think it's intuitive as I would like it to be. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, it's so my brain works is get a chat up, do it quick, boom, boom, boom. But there's all these things that you have to think of ahead of time. Like, for instance, if they answer yes, then the download has to go. If they do this, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of work. Mm-hmm. And do you have any tip that can make it easier for someone?
Ooh, for ManyChat, the big thing is, I would say, before you even get into the software, map that out. Map it out. Whether you are I'm a handwriter thinker. As much as I love my technology, I think on paper and then I convert it. But whatever works best for you, there's lots of mapping softwares. There's, obviously Google Docs, just writing in an outline. A lot of my friends think better in outlines. However you think, map it out. What are all the situations? And always think yes, no, other. So when you're mapping it out, you have that other, it helps your brain think of what else could they say so that it does feel more intuitive when they get into it. But mapping it out on paper, and then as you go through, follow one thing all the way down, then go up to that branch. Maybe I'm using my hands to talk on a podcast, silly. But as each branch goes, where would they have said yes? Follow that all the way down. Then where would it say no? And follow that one all the way down. Instead of trying to do two at once, it leaves a lot of room for error, is what I see.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, I think I had a friend of mine who mapped out something for me, and it was just they thought of everything. And it was sometimes I just don't think about everything, it's kind of hard. So more about ChatGPT, because it's just been on my mind a lot. I happened to be speaking last week at a speaking engagement, and there was this IT guy there, and he was the doom and gloom of ChatGPT. This is a serious thing, and don't go on it. It's going to be bad for you, blah, blah, blah. How do you rebut something like that? Or how do you just, because he was just like, this is the government is blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I had to like shut him down.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm old enough that I started teaching. I'm a former retired teacher. And when I started teaching, the internet was the thing that was going to take us down, and the government was spying on us, and it was going to expose our kids to all these awful things. And now you look, here we are on a podcast, a world apart, and being able to just have this really cool conversation. I've gone through that, and I feel, and no one can see the future, but in my gut, I feel like we've seen this. We get the safety features in place. We move forward. ChatGPT, when you see it telling doomsday, just the facts of that, like when you see it telling you how it's going to take over the world, ChatGPT has been trained on everything that's on the internet before September 2021. And if you think about how many the robots are going to come and kill us all, Terminator, all of that, that's what it's pulling from. You'll see like Independence Day type pictures and Terminator type pictures of the machines coming to overthrow us. The information in ChatGPT doesn't yet grow. That brain isn't developing like a 3-year-old's brain is developing. It is just taking what it's got. Now, is that potential coming? Absolutely. There's Wolfram Alpha, which is a number site that is definitely making it where it can take information, grow it, and go. Is that coming? Yes. Do I worry that it's a doomsday? No. The other thing that I hear is it gets rid of all your creativity, and boy, I'll tell you, it has really helped my creativity. I am a math teacher. I was a math geek in college. People, you meet them in the bar and they go, "What's your major?" And you say math, and they back up, right? Like, it's like, ooh. But I am very logical and very good with like mapping out. And that's why I probably love automation, right? I can map out the ManyChat thing, and I get in my little nerdy happy place. But thinking creatively, I know what I want it to do, but that part of my brain struggles a little bit. And what I've noticed, the more I use ChatGPT for the creativity, it shows me the possibilities, and it's helping me get more creative, because I noticed I don't rely on ChatGPT to get the language, to say it the way I want to say it, to sound the way I want to sound it, and to give the emotion. I've seen enough examples, kind of like back in school, where the teacher would do a few examples. Now I can do it myself. So it's actually building my creativity. So there's 2 different objections I hear. The one is it's going to take over the world. The second one is, will I lose my creativity? Will I lose my own voice? And
yeah. And it's funny how I actually love it. I feel like I'd rather do that than play a game, or, go out or something. Not that I would stay home all night and do ChatGPT, but during the day, like, especially like I went through a period of time where I had writer's block. Literally, I couldn't. And, a good example of that, one of my clients happened to be a tree stump grinder. It's like, how am I going to find copy with that? It's like social media copy, and it's like, it gave me so many ideas, and it was brilliant. I mean, I don't know what I'd do without it, just because it saves time. So what would you say, what is some advice that you would give to someone just starting out on ChatGPT? What would you say that they should do first?
Ooh, good question. So when you log in, I would have fun with it first, so that you understand the power. And let me give you a few examples. For example, at Valentine's Day, I have 2 teenagers still at home. I have older children. And so I actually had it write a play for me that we could act out and kind of be silly with. And it included our dog. Our dog was somebody. And I said, make it like Cat in the Hat. And it wrote a play and I told it who the people were, and it was able to write it up. But go in and have fun. Ask it to make a menu for you. Ask it to make a grocery list for you. Are you trying to eat a certain way? Put it in there. Ask it to make you breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Make a grocery list for you. ask it, how would you reply to this difficult conversation? Allow it to just have fun and go with it and see what it does. Ask it to plan a trip for you. Give it a budget and say, hey, I want to go on a trip. Do some fun stuff because you'll get to know the power. Now, when you go into your business, boy, you're going to have fun. Think, what am I putting off that I don't want to do? Maybe you've got that difficult client email and that one client is just a little more demanding than you prefer, and you don't look forward to answering those emails. Put those in ChatGPT. If you hate coming up with catchy headlines, ask ChatGPT for a catchy headline. If you notice your click-through rates are dropping on social media, ask for input. Putting in maybe a sales email. Maybe you've been pitching to be on podcasts like I have, and you're not getting the responses you want. Put your pitches in there and say, hey, I'm trying to get on these podcasts. It's not working. This is the pitch I've used. Can you give me some feedback and some suggestions? So that really works well. If your open rates are low on your emails, ask for the subject line feedback. If your click-through rates are low on your emails, ask for help writing them and improving those click-through rates. So just getting that feedback and having fun with it and allowing it to do the stuff you don't want to do is a great place to start.
Yeah, and there's so much of that. So I'm going to switch gears here a little bit. You're a business owner. You own your own business. What do you love most about owning your own business?
Ooh, I love the freedom. I have 6 children, 2 grandchildren, and my youngest son has some medical needs that require appointments. I used to be a teacher, and that is why I had to leave teaching, because I didn't have the flexibility to be there when my kids needed me. They were docking my pay for every time my son had a doctor's appointment. Even though I only need an hour off, they would only give me a day off. And so it got to the point where I was out too much. The flexibility that I get as a business owner to put being a mom first and a business owner second is priceless to me. And it doesn't matter that some of my kids are out of the house. When they call, I can be there.
Yeah, I thought about, like, now, all my kids are grown and out of the house, but it's like, I don't know how. I think sometimes it's hard to run a business. So a lot of people talk about the glamour of, I tell my friends I have my own business and they're like, wow, but sometimes it's not so glamorous. What would you say is the biggest challenge about owning your own business?
I think time management. I think time management can be really hard if you're not extremely intentional. And it could be really easy to get up and go, oh, I don't feel like it today. I don't feel like answering that hard email. I don't feel like it. I find for me, that's really, that was the hardest thing in the very beginning, or even allowing myself to take time off. The other extreme to that was you could work all the time. You could work all the time because it's never done. It's your business never probably running exactly the way you want. You always have the to-do list and it's always growing. And you have to be okay that the to-do list is never going to be all the way done. And you have to be really intentional that you do the most important things to grow your business first. So there's the want to do's and the have to do's, and sorting that out. But I think being intentional fixes that. But it can be really easy to fall into the urgent instead of the important.
Absolutely. One piece of advice that you would give someone, and it's like 3 levels here, like, there's just starting off, where they're a seasoned business owner and they're just like, or they're coming out of corporate and thinking they're going to own their, start their own business. What would be one piece of advice that would be timeless for all 3 groups?
Talk to the people that you want to serve before you create anything. I read a book and I've been looking for the title actually for the last 2 weeks to recommend it to a friend. I got to find it. But the advice was go talk to 100 people as fast as you can. If you can do it in 1 month, go do it in 1 month. Like, go talk to 100 people that might be your avatar, might be your person you want to talk to, the person you'd ideally sell to. For me, it would be small business owners. Go out and that's what, what you will learn there is invaluable in order to understand exactly what you offer, how you talk to people, and who you really want to serve. Build, and I would say the biggest purpose for that is talking to those 100 people is don't build a business you don't love. And it takes that time to build a business you love, because it's going to take a lot more than going to a job.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's like, or don't build a business that becomes a job.
Right.
Yeah. Just like, I'd love to put that into ChatGPT now and find out what they're going to say.
Yes.
I may do that after. This has been fun. Thank you so much for being my guest. And I know there's probably somebody out there that has resonated with you. Is there anything that you'd like to offer or anything that you'd like to send them to? Now would be the time to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a special handout just for your audience, Lorraine. So I've set up a spot on my website. It's JeanetteStein.com/biz for Biz Gone Social, BIZ. And that's going to help you establish and get ChatGPT to talk in your voice. So when I talked about that tone, emotion, and voice, I've got a workbook, a cheat sheet where you can create your own shortcut that you can just copy and paste into ChatGPT to help it sound like you, and dial that in and make sure that you're consistent. Just like Lorraine said, with those memory hooks, you want to be consistent across all of your social media things. So if you want that workbook on how to set up your TEV and make it really specific to you and help you be more consistent across social, just go to JeanetteStein.com/biz. I'll have that for you.
Well, thank you. And it's just been a pleasure having you as a guest. And to everyone else out there, I'll see you next week. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Biz Gone Social podcast. Find us on Instagram at Biz Gone Social for extra tips. Check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, stay social.